So Philip Agnew is one of Bernie Sanders' national surrogates, just a super powerful and motivating speaker. And he was recently at a Bernie campaign event in Iowa, I believe, and he just gave this really just powerful and transformative speech. And in this little 2-minute clip I'm going to show, it compares and contrasts the message that the Bernie Sanders campaign is echoing and trying to present to the public to the message that Donald Trump is presenting, and the differences are quite quite striking. Let's listen.
Can I hold your hand? And I have a pledge, a swearing. Raise your right hand. If you have permission and you're holding the hand, I want you all to close your eyes and just follow my instructions. Is that all right? Let's do a pledge. Everybody here, who likes me in this room?
So just right there, it's all about Trump. Do people like him? Can I get some more support for me being Donald Trump? It's a cult of personality. Whatever is best for me is the only thing that matters. And just compare to what's being presented at this Bernie campaign event. The differences are startling.
Grew up in a happy home, please squeeze your hand. If you grew up in a home that wasn't so happy, please squeeze your hand. I do solemnly swear, if you've ever wondered where your next meal might come from, that I, no matter how I feel, if you've ever been harassed or catcalled as you walk down the street, no matter what the conditions, if there's hurricanes or whatever, if you've ever fallen ill and self-medicated or ignored it because the bill might hurt more than the ill, will vote. If you've lost a job, if you've laid awake at night wondering if your son or your daughter was going to come home safe. Or Donald J. Trump.
See, the Trump rally campaign event, again, is just all about Donald Trump, voting for him no matter what. The Bernie campaign event was about bringing people together, like in a physical sense in more than one way, with the hand holding, if the person next to you gave you permission to hold their hand, and just talking about how coming together we're going to make the country better. And Trump, again, it's all centered on him, the cult of personality.
If you've ever been assaulted, if you've ever sat in a Planned Parenthood or a free clinic waiting alone, thank you.
And see, this, Philip Agnew was making it about the people at this campaign event and these things that they may have gone through, and Trump was just all about himself getting elected. And there's a reason why Bernie Sanders' campaign slogan is "Not Me, Us," and I think if Trump's campaign slogan wasn't "Make America Great Again," it could just be "Me" or "All About Trump," something like that,
Now I know. If you've ever been pulled over by a police officer and prayed to God that you'd make it home, if you've ever gone to war, if you've ever gone to war with your mind, if you've ever had to dodge a bill collector's incessant calls, if you've ever been misgendered or judged for your identity, if you've ever had to wake up at the crack of dawn to catch a bus or ride to visit a loved one behind bars, if you've ever had to argue with a family member about a prehistoric idea, if you've ever wondered if a loved one may be deported, if you are ready to work every day as the creator of your life, to do everything in your power to build a political revolution that will shake the very foundation of this empire, please squeeze a hand. With these hands, we will rebuild our communities. With these hands, we will free our people from prison. With these hands, we'll fight for a nation that makes our grandparents and our grandchildren proud. With these hands.
I mean, just how powerful and moving was the message that was being conveyed at that Bernie campaign event. With these hands, literally strangers, most likely sitting next to each other, were holding hands and speaking about how we're going to collectively change the United States for the better to lift everybody up, not me, us. It's definitely very representative of that compared to Donald Trump's campaign event that was shown in this ad. And obviously, it was all about Donald Trump. He wasn't talking about the needs of the people in the audience. He was saying, no matter what, you got to go out and vote for me if there's hurricanes or floods or, nuclear meltdown. You still got to go out and vote for Donald Trump because I got to get elected no matter what. Bernie Sanders, complete opposite. It's about the people. Bernie is a leader of a movement, not a cult of personality that is just always concerned about expanding their own self-interest and power. Bernie's really concerned about making the material conditions better for the working class, for the working people of the United States. And Trump sometimes is able to tap into some of that right-wing populist rhetoric. But again, it's just rhetoric. The policies and things that Donald Trump supports vastly uplift the top 1% or 0.1% of the United States while everybody else is getting left behind. Perfect example of that was the Donald Trump tax cuts. 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. And those tax cuts, I believe, stayed in there permanently, while the tax cuts for low-income and middle-income Americans had a sunset clause. Doesn't support Medicare for all, doesn't support a Green New Deal, doesn't support LGBTQ rights, doesn't support women's reproductive health care, all those things attributed to, Donald Trump, obviously. And, again, if you are part of the working class of the United States, the only presidential candidate that you should really be considering at this point is Bernie Sanders. If you're part of the wealthy oligarchic elite, head of a big corporation, unless you're wanting to break with your class interests, which some wealthy people have and have supported Bernie Sanders, then okay, fine, go ahead, support Donald Trump, Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, those types of people. But if you're a working person in the United States, which obviously a vast majority of us are, and Bernie Sanders is the best candidate to represent and push a working class agenda and platform by advocating and fighting vociferously for things like Medicare for all, a Green New Deal, canceling student loan debt, canceling medical debt, legalizing marijuana, reinstating a wealth tax, reinstating a progressive corporate tax rate, all of these things that will collectively be able to lift up the huge masses of people in the United States, so we're not living in extreme degradation and just all of these things are just falling apart around us. Bernie gets it. He's for the working people, and he just has this clear, consistent track record of advocating for things that benefit the working class, the working people in the United States, and he's the only candidate that has that. So again, unless you are part of that wealthy oligarchic elite, I would really love to understand why you would support Donald Trump over Bernie Sanders or any candidate, any Democratic candidate as well over Bernie Sanders. But what a powerful ad by the Bernie Sanders campaign, and what an excellent speech. And that's actually not the full speech from Philip Agnew. You could probably find that on Twitter or maybe a Bernie campaign ad, but I think it's about maybe 5 minutes in total, and I only showed you 2 minutes of it, and the whole thing is worth checking out if you have time and the inclination. Share your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Peace, much love. Let's keep up the momentum. Get Bernie the Democratic nominee, and he's going to beat Donald Trump. Peace.